I can't compare every country in the world. I can give you an opinion. We can look at it in detail. But looking at it from the ProACT office in the UK's perspective, the ProACT office in Cyprus, what that is. So Cyprus is in the EU, and it's an island country. So it's got a slightly different approach to the COVID lockdown restrictions than open border countries like Spain and France and Germany. The UK is an island, but it's a much bigger population. It's got its own issues. But the standard things with Corona, the restrictions are all around the world. They generally tends to be the same. The recommendations come from the doctors at WHO, the World Health Organization, and every country is applying a variation on a theme. And so a lot of what each country is applying is saying the same sort of things because it's common sense, so from an early age, we're taught to now, please wash your hands. It just got real meaning nowadays with the COVID pandemic being a new virus that's come upon us. So Cyprus has started to ease and open up locally, whereas the UK is not doing it yet. We talked about the UK starting to open up from the 29th of March. You can't even travel outside your local district in the UK at the moment. So in Cyprus, you can travel around the country if there's a need to for work. So there's a limited on restrictions. So everybody's limited to stay at home, but you have to have your SMS message to confirm that you're going for a limited amount of activities. That's not very much. So in effect, everybody is housebound in the UK, in Cyprus still, have to wear masks out in public and keep distances. And essential retailing is open for both. But the difference with Cyprus is that non-essential retail is now open from the beginning of February, whereas in the UK, non-essential retail doesn't open for until the 12th of April. So from the middle of February to the middle of April, non-essential retail is still closed in the UK, whereas it's open in Cyprus, which means that a lot more people can go to work. So each workplace has to maintain its hygiene and its distance regulations. But if you can work, even if you're working across the country, you can travel it with the appropriate permit for work. So then for expats, there's slightly different constraints as well. For Cyprus, travelling from Cyprus is quite simple. You can travel out of Cyprus. That's the easy bit. The hard bit is finding a flight and a country that will accept you. For UK expats or any expat locked down in the UK, you can't travel at the moment internationally. That hasn't been opened generally. So that's a general advice that is being maintained. If you come into the UK, then you've got a 10-day quarantine at the moment. But that's only for countries that aren't on a safe list. So for Cyprus is on a safe list of countries for the UK. So an expat in the UK, in Cyprus, can travel to the UK and in theory without quarantine. There has to be tests in and out, but the quarantine doesn't apply if you're on a safe corridor location, and that does include the UK and Cyprus. However, UK expats are restricted from getting out, and the airlines are just not putting on the flights, so it does make it quite difficult. For Cyprus, not everybody is allowed in, so they have three categories of countries, A, B, and C, and the UK currently is on category B. So categories A and B countries like Germany, Greece, New Zealand and Australia, so not very many, those people can come in and have to isolate for 72 hours, have the test before and after. Category C countries like the UK, you have to be a resident to come in. So if the expat in the UK has got a resident permit and they have to come to Cyprus because this is where they live, they need to care for their home or their business in Cyprus, that essential travel could be justified outside to leave the UK. You still got to have a test before you leave and when you arrive, and there could still be up to 14 days quarantine applied to that person when they arrive. But in Cyprus now, in February, it's self-isolation. So it's effectively a stay at home rather than a stay in a hotel arrangement. So expats in Cyprus can travel out. Where they can go to depends upon what the different countries' rules are. The UK have got a general blanket ban on the whole population from travelling outside their district and travelling internationally. However, you can make exceptions, but the exception for a British expat is that they because they're in category C, is that they have to be a resident in Cyprus, and so they have to have some sort of yellow slip or residency or home and be able to prove that on their travel documents to get there. So it's a bit of a sort of interesting situation. Only from the 29th of March is overseas travel being allowed, and wider travel restrictions haven't actually been signposted in detail, not to my knowledge anyway.